Okay, I'm in my very cluttered garage as we approach Halloween here. And I've had a lot of requests for how I did the Pepper's Ghost inside the hearse. First of all, I'll start with the hearse itself. The hearse is the Home Depot hearse. I did not build it myself. I mean, I assembled it myself, but I did not, create it myself or anything like that. So it's just the Home Depot hearse. It is, for the most part, sold out. There have been some occasional drops. So there, if you want to follow places that may inform you of when those drops happen, but when those drops do happen, it still sells out very, very quickly. The best inventory was the launch day. It was available most of the day that day, but ever since then, it's been, for the most part, sold out. So you've probably seen the video of the effect. So I'm just going to focus on the guts now. Here's what we have on the inside. I'm just going to start disassembling it. First, I'm going to unplug my little HDMI cable and the USB cable that powers the monitor that I'm using. And this just kind of slides out. I kind of jerry-rigged that myself. I have a little angle bracket on one side and then another set of flat bracket, and it just kind of sandwiches those two 1x2s on either side. Here's the screen I'm using. It's a UPerfect OLED 16-inch, and I really like the OLED screen because OLEDs are known to have perfect blacks. There is no backlight. Each pixel is its own light. So when it's showing black, the pixel's completely off. So there's no reflection. But this is what actually produces the image. And I have a little VESA mount, VESA mount, which is a standard screen mounting solution that I got on Amazon. Zip tied to this 1x2. And the 1x2 has a angle bracket mounted to the end, and then a flat bracket mounted to the other side, and then that just creates a way that I can, I can show you here. Just kind of slips on and allows me to, sandwich that and then swing it into place. So I'm going to take this off now so I can show the rest. That's the lid of the hearse here. So the next part is the actual screen mount assembly, the frame, I guess you could call it. I'm going to try to do this. I don't have a way to hold my phone here. But I'm going to try to take this out so you can see what I've got. Okay, and let's put this on the floor. Okay, so this is what I've made. I originally was planning to use a 40-inch television screen, flat screen HD TV, which is why it's so big. The problem with that is that the way the Pepper's Ghost worked, the actual ghost appeared to be right up along the back wall. It was down on the window, but it was just too far back, and I wanted to bring it into the hearse a bit more. So by using this smaller screen, I was able to lower the screen a bit more, which brings the ghost out. That's just how the reflection works. Again, the best way to think of this is just a intentional reflection. So anyway, back to this frame. It is, again, made out of 1x2s. The measurements for all the wood cuts, the long parts are 47.5 inches. The wood in between that connects the two long pieces is 16.5 inches. And then the legs are 21 and 3/4 inches. And it's for the top part of the frame, I actually use these T-brackets that I got at Lowe's. For the legs, I wanted to be able to fold them down. So if I can do this here. I wanted to be able to fold them down so that for storage purposes. So these clips come off and all four legs just fold in. And there is enough room for both legs, the legs on either side to fold in without, bumping each other. And there's just a little hinge in there, just a normal, again, from Lowe's. These little clips, I think they're called 90-degree clips of some sort. I'll try to put a link in the comments. That actually is what clips and holds the leg secure. And so that's how that all works. And really the only thing that I had to build for this is the actual reflective surface. So again, you have the monitor, the screen here, and that screen is reflecting off of this, and then that's what you actually see in the window. So if I put my hand here, you can kind of see my hand there. Well, that's basically a Pepper's Ghost. That's just a reflection. But because it's not limited on the screen, it makes it look like a ghost is standing there. So again, this is just a 1x2 inch frame. Let me get some measurements for you. The short sides of the frame are 32.5 inches. The long part at the top and bottom of the frame are, let's see, exactly 40 inches. And the way I have them secured, again, I just have a bracket, and that's what's holding it in place. I also did some wood glue, just so that it doesn't flex any, because it's a pretty big open space with no middle support. The actual surface is a 3M window insulation film. So that you just put the included tape around the, I did the back side, the same side as the brackets. I actually laid the plastic screen film out on my counter. I then laid the actual frame upside down on it, and then I just wrapped it, I had already applied the tape around the edges. Then I just, rounded up the plastic around the edges. So again, I'm doing it this way. So then, I took the extra plastic, wrapped it around the edge. Once it was secured, I flipped it over, and then I took a hairdryer. And when you hair dry the plastic, it shrinks and makes a taut surface, which gets all the wrinkles and creases out. It makes a good reflective surface. The only other thing, you may see this wire here that goes up to it. I am using a LIFX, L-I-F-X RGB strip. The reason, you may be asking why, because the hearse does include its own light as it came from Home Depot, which is right up here. The problem with that is with all this woodwork, the woodwork creates shadows that I didn't want. So I'm actually not going to use the light that came built in with the hearse. I'm going to use my own RGB strip. That also gives me a lot of flexibility in what colors and how intense the lighting is. And I have it a little 90-degree aluminum angle bracket that's made for these RGB strips. You can get those on Amazon. And I cut it exactly 40 inches. And then I just, it's basically just tension mounted in the frame. The aluminum bracket is, and the aluminum bracket is supporting the RGB strip. So, down here, this is just burgundy crushed velvet cloth that I got on Amazon. And underneath of that is still in the plastic wrap, it's called a socket box. It's actually a waterproof electrical box housing. And that's actually what I'm going to be running all my electrical connections. And let's go ahead and put this screen back in here. This goes in, and the bottom actually goes all the way forward. Like that. And then this just lays up there, and it actually fits perfectly in between those edges there. And then when you put the lid on, it'll pull all this tight, and this lays perfectly in there. So again, you see that that's at a 45-degree angle. It's almost easier to tell, especially with a video and you don't have any 3D depth. Tell from this side, you can see how as plastic is laying at a 45-degree angle. Again, the screen is up here. So the screen lights up, the image on the screen reflects off of this, and it looks like it's going to be floating, back here. It actually lines up right on the back end of that box, is where Little Leota appears to be standing when the effect is fully operational. So I hope this helps a little bit. One thing I will say, again, I was trying to explain why the 40-inch full-size flat screen TV didn't work. It was edge to edge up here. I couldn't get it any lower than this. The problem with that is because it's at that point, you basically have to make a right angle and a 90-degree angle from where it meets the top of the film. And that's where the ghost is, whatever the ghost is, whatever appears on the screen is going to appear in that plane. So if you drop a line down from here, you can imagine that the Leota is only going to appear, way back here, which is right in line with the back of the hearse. But obviously that is not the effect I was going for. I wanted her to be out here more. So the only way to get her out here more was to actually have the screen come down about here so that it meets the plastic at this level. And then you have a plane here, which is where the ghost appears. So anyway, I hope that kind of helps a little bit. And this is a little crude. I apologize. I have so much going on and don't have a whole lot of time for video editing, and I'm not very fast at it. I'm too much of a perfectionist. So what you get is an imperfect video, but I hope this helps. Also, you see those fake flowers down there. Don't underestimate the importance of setting the scene. Things like this red crushed velvet cloth, some flowers, things like that are really important in helping to sell the effect. More important than most people realize. It's things like that that make it feel real and have emotion and carry a sense of character development. So don't ignore those things when you're working on any of your props. Really, those are the things that make an emotional connection with whatever character you're building. So anyway, I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, let me know. Bye. I just want to record a quick follow-up video to cover a few things I neglected to include earlier. First, a special thanks to Josh Ward, who did a similar build last year and was willing to share his build ideas with me, including some measurements for some of the cuts for the wood. And to Peyton Cloudman, who provided the original Little Leota recording from the ride that I was able to stabilize and clean up for the effect. That cleaned up version is available on my YouTube channel. Or if you find me on social media, I'm happy to share a link to my OneDrive so you can download the original videos. This hearse version of the hearse is the new 2025 version. If you have the older version of the hearse, which looked different, had one single side window and red curtains, the measurements may be different for you. These measurements that I've gave in this video only apply to this new 2025 video. I think it's pretty close, but I don't want anybody to strictly go by these measurements because it's going to be a little bit different. Make sure to tape the seam in the lid of the hearse. You can see there's a seam here. If you're going to be leaving this outside, the screen obviously is an electronic device and water will seep down in there. There's nothing to prevent water from getting through that crack. So use some waterproof tape, which I have not done myself yet, but use waterproof tape to prevent water, rainwater from getting through that crack and getting on your electronics. To play the video file on a loop, I'm using a Sprite media player. And sprites are very well known in the home haunt world for those who use digital decorations. I think the original Sprite has been discontinued and you can only buy the 4K version now, which is a bit more expensive. There are cheaper alternatives on Amazon, but I cannot vouch for them. I've not used them. But the main advantage I know the Sprite has is that it has seamless looping. There's no text that appears on the screen when it loops the video or goes from one video to the next. This is my Sprite 4K that I'm using in this. And you can see the little mini or micro SD card, which contains the video file. And it is also triggerable. You can actually plug one of their motion sensors into this and you can have a static background video loop, and then when it detects motion, it'll trigger a different video. So it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of uses for the home haunt world. Let's see what's next on my list here. That's also connected to the U-Perfect does not have a full-size HDMI port. It has a mini HDMI port, so that's a mini HDMI to full-size HDMI plugging into the Sprite. The other thing is I'm going to be adding 90-degree adapters here because these are pushing right up against the plastic screen. I don't want them to damage that plastic. It's very, it's pretty sensitive, and I've actually forgotten it's there a couple times and almost put my hand through it. So just something to be aware of. On the screen, I'm also using a privacy filter screen protector. You can't really tell with this, but if I turn the screen on, basically what that does is it only allows the screen to be seen head on directly. If you're off to the side like this, you cannot see it anymore. The advantage of that is, again, as you're kind of off to the side here, if you're a small child, you would be able to look up and actually possibly see Little Leota on the screen itself directly. So that privacy filter prevents that. So I was able to find one that was exactly the right size for this screen. It's a 16 by 10, 16-inch screen. So that makes sure that young children can't look up and see Little Leota directly on the screen. They're only going to see the reflection, and it has no impact on the Pepper's Ghost. Because again, it's basically the reflection is actually head on, face on with the screen. So it does not affect the Pepper's Ghost effect at all. The only other thing was that those clips I was talking about that they're hard to see here, but they're that allow these legs to lock in position here. If you go on Amazon, you want to search for a 90-degree spring toggle lock, and they should pop up. These are stainless steel. They've been spray painted black, as does everything else. But that's where I got these, was on Amazon, the 90-degree spring toggle locks. So I think that covers everything I left out originally. I hope this video helps others and inspires others, and I can't wait to see what others come up with and how they use this effect in their haunts. And it doesn't have to be with a hearse. You may find another solution for a Pepper's Ghost. It really does need some sort of contained box, which is what I struggled with. I couldn't figure out what to do with that until I saw Josh Ward's video last year, and he used the hearse, and that just seemed perfect for my haunt. So that's why I went that direction this year. So anyway, thanks, and happy Halloween. Bye.